Hey everybody. So getting ready to start on still in module 3, part 7. We're going to be talking about the physics. Excuse me. So again, I recommend that everybody watches this because it goes into further details of what I'm getting ready to go over, but I'm just want to go over the basics of what he covered of the collider, the rigid body, and the physics of how Sumerian, all these little entities work together. My voice sounds horrible today. I didn't realize that till just now. Anyways, so this is what we've been working on. My color schemes are a little bit different, but it's the same concept. I got a blue background, yellow table, green ground. And the fact that I can see the grid lines right here and not here tells me that I think maybe might not be flat, but I'm not going to worry about that right at this moment. So I have a ball hanging from the air. It's over the table. And if I hit play down here on the bottom, nothing happens. Okay? It's still just a ball hanging in the air. There's a table and all that. So I'm going to hit stop. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add a couple of components. Yeah, that's the word they're called. Components over here for the ball and the ground. So what we're going to do is click on game ball. And I'm going to close this. And so we see the components of game ball right now. We can add a component. What we're going to do is add a collider. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. So I hit collider. We added a collider to our game ball. And I'm going to shift over. And as you can see, it's a square. You see the green line? That's a square, or a box rather. So we can change that box shape to a sphere. And then we can change the circumference because it's still a little wider than what it needs to be. And let's see, the radius, let's change that to, I don't know, 2. And let's change it to 1. That's a little too small. You can see it's changing. Get back on it. I lost it. Where'd it go? Okay. Okay, you can see the radius, that green circle stuff. So 0.1 is a little too small. So let's do 2. It's a little, maybe just a hair shorter than that. 1.5. Okay, that's a pretty tight fit. We'll leave it at that. So, and then we also need to do the collider for the table. So not the table offset. We got to open up table offset and click on the table. And zoom out a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a component of, again, a collider. And it's a box, as you can see, and which is good because this was originally a box, if you remember. It was originally this right here, and we just changed the dimensions of it to be more of a table. So it's a pretty tight fit. You can see the same thing as you would in the sphere on these extents. If you changed it, it would change the fitting of it. So, like, I don't know if you can see that well or not, but there's like a green line. I know I got a green background here. But there's a green line that extends to, yeah. You see that green line? Okay, that's the extent for the x-axis, which I just put here. So we want to change that back to what it was. It was 0.5 because that was a better fit. Okay. And let's see. So now we have a collider for our table. And we also have a collider for our ball or sphere. Okay. So that's one thing that we're just going to go over, and that's the collider components. Now we're going to go over the rigid body components. So I want to hit play just to show you that nothing happens still. We have 2 colliders, but it's not being told what to do. Okay. So I'm going to hit stop. And now we are going to add the rigid body. So I want to click on the game ball, and I'm going to close this and add component and rigid body. So the rigid body, not going to go into the details of it. I don't think he did either. A lot of this stuff I'm not familiar with yet. So we're just going to say it has a rigid body and be done with it. So this happens when we hit play now. Okay, it fell. So you can see it's like on the table, but I'm trying to think, I think I missed, oh, the tilt. I need to put the tilt on. Okay, so let's stop this. Okay, so it's back in the air again because you can see that gap. And when I hit play, it just goes there, which is what I want, but not what I want at the same time. Okay, so one thing I need to change is the table offset. The point of the table offset, it looks like I need to make another change too. The point of the table offset is for us to allow it a little bit of a tilt. So I don't think I messed with that whenever I start creating this. So I'm trying to think which one would be. Let's try Y. Looks like it moved it. Let's try. It's doing something. Let me go look, see what he did again. I don't remember now.
Let's work in tandem to create basic physics within Amazon Sumerian.
Okay,
hope you join.
so
and then I'm going to press play. Not surprisingly, nothing happens when we press play. Okay, I'm here in my scene, and in the last video, Sumerian, and how to get in the last video, the clip sit right above happens when we not enable them to increase the size. What we need to do first, each of our offset, and then I'm going to open that up.
So his offset was 0, 1.3, and 0. Okay, that's what no, that's the XY. It's a scaling, uniform scale. So this doesn't matter because it's just the position of it. Hit uniform. Okay, I'm back. I was right, kind of, sort of, maybe a little bit. So what I was trying to do was mess with the y-axis as opposed to mess with the z-axis. And how I figured that out, I went back to section 2. And it was around the 9.59 mark where he mentions that. So I was in the right section, just the wrong letter here. So I want to show you what it does now. I'm going to hide that. So I'm going to hit play, and we'll move this ball over here just a little. No, it's not what I wanted to do. Game ball. Nope. There we go. Okay. And now I'm going to hit play. What happened? Where's the ball? Okay, I don't know what I did there. I see the ball. There's the ball. It might be a little bit too close to the edge. Let's put it more in the middle. Okay, I see a ball. There we go. I think when I had too close to the edge and just dropped off. And then you can see, let's probably do that again. So stop it, hit play. So it's got that tilt in it, which is while it's going down, but now it falls into nothingness. Okay. So the other, let's go ahead and stop this. The other rigid component, sorry, I blanked for a second, that we need to add is actually to the ground. Okay. So we're selecting the ground, and we're going to click add component, rigid body, and we're going to leave that as is. Hold on, I think I missed a step. Let's get rid of that right now. Let's do a collider. Yeah, okay, that's what I needed. So you can see the green outline like we've seen in other things when we added the collider to it. And it's shaped as a box. But if you remember, the ground wasn't necessarily a box. It was a, what was it? I think it was a disc. So get rid of that. It's not a box. So what we can do is change this to infinite plane. And again, he goes more in details on the instruction of it in the videos that he does. Let's see, move this over. So I'm going to change my background, my ground color to something else, so I can see it better. Material. Let's change it to a darker color so we can see the green outline better. Okay. That works. Okay. So we see the outline here of the collider, the infinite plane. And trying to think if he added something else. Let's go here. So we'll go back to pages and modules. And 3.7, the physics 7. So this is the video that I recommend you watch. My method is usually turn on closed captions, especially I'm just trying to find a certain point.
In this video,
and fast forward, hitting the arrow button.
There's a green
Okay, we already did that.
To fall. That's pretty tight. It's not a hole to an entity. We don't want to off through the floor.
This is where we want.
I'll zoom at the moment. Right, so it rolls off the table, it hits the table, and rolls off the table. So it's acting the way we want. However, we do want there to be a collider on the floor so it can land on the floor as well. So lastly, we need to add a collider to the ground. So we'll select the ground entity, we'll select add component, and then add a collider. Now again, the shape, if you zoom out, let's look at our ground. It's this large disk. And if we have a box-shaped collider around that disk, it's going to be this huge box, which we don't want. What we do want is an infinite plane. So the infinite plane will then extend infinitely beyond the disk. So it actually, and we'll see how this works in a moment. So let's zoom in. You can see the collider shaped there on this disk. Let's press play, see what happens. See the ball land, fall through the air, land on the table, lands on the floor, and then it continues to roll. Okay. Now if we wait.
Okay, so maybe there's nothing else that I needed to add. Let's see if mine works. My concern is because like his was like more lined up over here and this is underneath of it. I don't know if I need to move something, but one way to find out is to try. So let's hit play. So that works. Let's see what happens next. Oh, okay. Let me zoom out. Oh, there we go. It's my ball. My ball's still rolling. Okay, my ball is still rolling and it goes forever, but that's another tutorial. So it works. So this is the quicker, maybe not, quicker video on physics with Sumerian. Let me know if you have any questions.